Hi, I'm Mikaela, and this is my professional growth project. I was placed at Montfortin School in between Four Corners and Bozeman, Montana. Montfortin is kind of special. It's in its own district, and it contains students from K through 8th grade, which is very unique. I was in Miss Johnson's first grade class. I had 18 students. I was in a kindergarten class for my first practicum, and switching over to first grade was such a great experience. I learned so much and got to really see the difference in the growth that happens between the two grades. My students were awesome. I really enjoyed my time at Montfortin. Spending 4 days a week from 8 to 4 and was amazing. I got to teach every single lesson straight from 8:30 when the bell rang until 3:25 when the bell rang again for school to be over. My students really helped me learn a lot. And for my goal, I was focusing on student engagement, specifically towards activities and assignments that are in my classroom. I chose this because engaging students is key to helping them learn. If students aren't focused, if they're not engaged, if they're snoozing off, they're not going to learn very much. So my goal was focused around engagement because I want my students to get the most out of the content that I am teaching. My action plan for this goal was to research, and do more research. Using the book Teach Like a Pirate was probably my biggest resource that I got the most from. I learned that I need to be passionate about what I'm teaching. I need to be immersed in my classroom. I need to build rapport with my students. I need to ask and analyze why I'm teaching what I'm teaching. Is it relevant? How can I make my lessons outstanding instead of just bearable? And then how can I transform my classroom? And how can I use my enthusiasm to get my students interested and bring them into the classroom and make them want to learn? So Teach Like a Pirate was my biggest resource that I used. My second step for reaching my goal was to implement some ideas that Dave Burgess had mentioned and to also implement other ideas that I had researched. These are a couple articles that I have read. First, I learned that learning can be fun. I have to make learning fun in order for my students to have fun. I learned that content needs to be relevant. I can incorporate movement, imagery, and audio to enhance my lessons. I need to relate my lessons to the real world and make connections that my students can understand. If they can connect what they're learning in the classroom to what they learn and see outside of the classroom, then that's going to make the students learn and retain that information. Being passionate is probably one of the biggest things. If I'm passionate about teaching, then my students are going to be passionate about learning. I can also incorporate technology, once again, to enhance lessons. In my classroom, how did I work on my goal? Calendar time was very difficult in my classroom, so I incorporated movement when we were counting, and that seemed to help the students stay on task, and we really enjoyed calendar time by the end of my time there. Students originally, when I first got to the classroom, were in groups of 2s. I talked to my teacher, and we moved groups into groups of 4 so students could easily talk to each other and do group work, and that seemed to also engage my students. We used a lot of Go Noodle in the classroom. This was nice to give my students a brain break, just to stand up, to get moving, to get their wiggles out. Then that way, after Go Noodle, they could sit down and learn. Also with Go Noodle, we did many games that I could incorporate content into. So I did incorporate movement and then also made it fun for them to learn. These two pictures are a piece of artwork that we did in the classroom. We were doing a butterfly unit, and we created a classroom mobile and hung them from the ceiling. And each day each week we added another one, depending on where their butterflies were at in their life cycle. And they really enjoyed this art project, so incorporating arts definitely helped on engaging my students. Now the big question, did I meet my goal? I wouldn't say that I am proficient in engaging students. However, I do believe I made footsteps towards my goal. I still have a lot of learn and a lot to research. So I definitely did not meet my goal because I don't think this is a goal that a teacher can meet. I think it's a goal that teachers can strive for, and each year engaging students is going to be different. Each year I'm going to have to research, and each year I'm going to have to try different things. So moving forward, I will continue to research my ways to engage my students. Unfortunately, I will not be student teaching in the fall. because I need to get other classes done. So I will be student teaching in the spring. So that means I have a whole semester to research different ways to engage my students. I will implement some of Dave Burgess's ideas. He has amazing ideas. I loved that book. I would love to go to one of his seminars because he engaged me as a reader. I will immerse myself in the classroom every day. When I begin student teaching, I want to fully be in my placement. I want to be immersed. I want to be a swimmer with my students and not just a lifeguard, as Dave mentioned in his book. I want to be fully immersed in what they're doing and what they're learning. I want to be a part of their learning experience. Overall, this was a great experience, and I look forward to striving with this goal. Here are my resources. Thank you and have a great summer.